get to the Bitcoin part because let's get this out of the way
All
because I
right,
know
everybody.
Jason is going to be triggered and offended by these comments.
Hate mail is addressed to Matt Frankel.
Well, I didn't. They're not my words.
No. That's right. We're just communicating what we've heard. But yeah, I thought this would be a fun one to talk about. So yeah, let's dig in a little bit to Munger's feelings on Bitcoin.
Yeah. So first of all, Buffett dodged the question. He even said, "I'm dodging the question."
It's like politics.
He completely understands that his opinion on Bitcoin is not a popular one.
Yeah,
Buffett
yeah.
does. Um, Munger has always been kind of an unfiltered speaker, and whatever filter he had, now that he's 97, is gone.
Yep.
um,
Yep.
he's had some pretty, you know, mean comments about Bitcoin through the years already.
Yeah.
So he said, "Of course, I hate the Bitcoin success," is what he said. He said, "I don't welcome a currency that's so useful to kidnappers and extortionists and so forth. Nor do I like shuffling out a few extra billions and billions of dollars to somebody who just invented a new financial product out of thin air." If that wasn't enough, he went on to say that it's disgusting and contrary to the interests of civilization.
Wow.
So
I
tell
mean,
us how
those
you
are
really
strong
feel, Charlie.
words. Yeah, those are strong words. And I mean, agree with them or disagree with them. I mean, that's not really. I mean, we're just we're talking about obviously his feelings on the matter, and granted, he's not the only one. I'm sure that feels that way. But yeah, I mean, it does seem like he's opening the invitation for a lot of blowback there from the younger generations of investors who feel like he's too old. He just doesn't get it. Bitcoin is the future, whatever it may be. And I mean, everybody's got an opinion on the matter. It's not like Charlie is just some sort of guy who picked a couple of stocks and rode that success. I mean, he's been part of building something pretty special and pretty meaningful over the last several decades. I mean, he knows a thing or two.
I know. I mean, I don't want to get involved in the Twitter war. I know there's a lot of people at the Motley Fool even who love Bitcoin, who are big believers in it.
Yeah,
So it's a very polarizing investing topic.
yeah.
Don't be.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting too, like because you said, and I mean, I think these are his words, but he refers to it as a currency, and there's a debate to be had as currency versus asset, right? I mean, two very different things, and so it certainly depends on the perspective of how you're viewing it, whether it's an asset or a currency or something else.
Yes, I mean, what I would say is don't be so quick to dismiss Munger as okay boomer or any of
Yeah.
those things that I think he's actually above a boomer.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. But
I think the oldest boomers are in their 70s right now, and he's well beyond that.
well, and I
Um,
mean, so that's no surprise his feelings on the matter. And I mean, I would imagine with things like Dogecoin, they just become magnified. And so there you go. I mean, you can agree with him or disagree with him, but I mean, clearly, there's more than one opinion on the
I
matter out there.
I
And
saw something on a chat that said, "Well, you think his comments on Bitcoin were bad? You better be lucky they didn't mention Dogecoin because his head would have exploded."
yeah. Well, I mean, I have a feeling there are going to be more of these types of things introduced in the near future. So it'll be interesting to watch how this market shakes out. And
But you know what else I've noticed? Nobody just kind of likes Bitcoin.
I,
Everyone
I
either
agree
thinks
with
it's
you
like the
there.
next big thing in finance, or
Yeah.
they are Charlie Munger.
It doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's difficult for me to fully wrap my head around why it matters, and I've always said, and I stand by this. I mean, like Bitcoin bulls to me they've done a phenomenally horrible job at explaining why it matters. I'm not saying it doesn't. Don't get me wrong. So don't at me. Understand, I don't care. Okay, I just don't care about Bitcoin. But what I am saying is they've done a very poor job of explaining why it really matters. I mean, you can tell me about decentralized and unhackable and yada yada yada. But they've just done their poor job of explaining why it really matters, and so I'm sure we'll get a lot of people explaining from here on out why it really matters on Twitter and whatnot. And that's fine. But it will be interesting to watch that space evolve because you're right. It's either one or the other. You either love it or you hate it. And I would add maybe a third category, and I think I fall into this third category. You just are apathetic. You just don't
Really,
care.
I was gonna start calling you Jason Munger.
Well, I just don't care. Yeah, there's a third category of stuff. I don't lose sleep over it. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, fine. You know what? I know what I don't know. So maybe Munger would be proud of me because I've realized what I don't know. And that's really one of his more famous quotes, right? It revolves around, hey, know what you don't know, because that's when real wisdom starts kicking in. Um, so hey, we'll see. I mean, a sign of a good investor is the ability to change one's mind, and so maybe he'll change his mind one day. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.